Now, I can't help it that I'm custom made. I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can dance all night long. I can't help it that I'm the greatest wrestler alive today.
got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US obey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big cheer. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me import and wear tie up tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JD Advance. Me fight walk folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberal. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Too many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, execo the sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza. With this one majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage I. of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Thursday night. And let me just say, I was fully prepared to drop a different intro. And then Lady Aaron D said, JD advanced, please. So she completely shifted what would have been a different intro. All right. Did I say Thursday night? Whatever the fuck it is, dude. I'm all over the place. Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. So yeah, because Thursday is the day for Megacon, or at least our first official day. So I'm all over the place. Gary, don't get in here acting like you don't fuck up every time you talk on a stream. Don't even act like that moral superiority bullshit. Take your weekly model bullshit, all right, and get the hell out of here. Thursday, like Gary never fucks up. Hi, Gary. I miss you. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, buddy. Hello, everyone. Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage I. of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Wednesday. Laughing Man says, I saw Can Man tonight. Actually, yeah, I wanted to go over, I know you guys were hanging out at City Walk, and I wanted to go over there, but just too much going on. But we will be there tomorrow, as you see right here. Me and Gary will be at the Rippaverse booth tomorrow. at 4 p.m. 5:30, 4 p.m. to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. And will CobraCast stream during the Megacon panel? I don't think that's going to happen. However, I don't want to say for sure, okay? But it could. We could just run a CobraCast during the panel. We'll see. Dark Schwartz Rising for $20 says, let's ride. Hail the 199. Let's freaking go. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And again, I talked about this earlier, but again, I want to show this one more time because I'm just so happy about this. Gary, I don't know if you heard this or not, but let me double check to see, because I think it's gotten even better. But let me check first. I had to go to incognito tab. Okay, so right here, all right? If you go over to Google and you Google One Piece review, geeksandgamers.com comes up third right there. Look at that. We are right behind Reddit and Rotten Tomatoes on the front page of Google. Let's freaking go. Third, Earnhardt. That's right, Earnhardt. So that is crazy awesome. And so originally it was One Piece Season 2 review, what we were ranking for. Now we're on the front page for One Piece review. So that is awesome right there. I am so happy about that. And congrats again to the crew. They're doing a great job over there. So yes, I am very excited about that. Very excited. So congratulations to the team on that one. Let me find this tab and shut that one down. But yeah, I'm really happy about that. That is super exciting. Let me see. Greedy Graffiti says premature. I think you probably had to spell it a little bit differently in order to get it through the censors, maybe. I think. Still Lake of History says, my hoodie and shirt are on the way. Tagged you on X. Hell yeah, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear that, brother. Ladybug says Thursday night CobraCast. There probably will be one tomorrow. Okay, there probably will be. John freaking Murdoch for 50 says, hey, Jeremy, not going to lie. You convinced me that it was Thursday night. Have fun at Megacon. Wish I could be there. Maybe next year. Hail IDOTS. Hail the 199. Happy Jessica. Honestly, never mind meeting you. I want to meet Mrs. ABF. Look at there. Ain't that nice? He's like, I don't even want to meet you. Just want to meet Mrs. ABF, the legend herself right there. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Hail. Everybody say thank you in the chat. And I saw Dermy Wormy rated us. Thank you for the raid, Dermy Wormy. For the first time in your life, you have done something productive. You have rated CobraCast. This is the peak for you, brother. There's nowhere else to go but down. So this is the peak for Dermy Wormy. This is the greatest moment of your life, okay? So enjoy it. No, seriously, thank you, Dermy Wormy. I appreciate it, man. I hope you're doing well, man. Are you going to be here, Dermy Wormy? I can't remember if you said, are you going to be here at Megacon? You hate to see it. If you Google Geeks and Gamers, you come up first. Yay. Is that good? I mean, honestly, I haven't even checked that in a long time because for a while there, we were not first. For a while there, Zack Snyder came up first for a Geeks and Gamers search. Geeks and Gamers, what's that? Zack Snyder calls alt-right YouTube channel racist and sexist after they raised $100,000 for him. That used to be the first search. It's McDoubles with the 199. Thank you. Headset Oracle says, listening while packing for Mega Contacts. Hail the 199. And Dermy Wormy says, not this year. Sorry to hear that, man. Maybe next year, brother. Maybe next year. Vault 199 Gaming says, well, Cobra, I got that one. All right, so we got to talk about all this stuff. So there's a lot going on today, but I want to get into the Joe Kent stuff because that is dominating the news cycle right now. And it's a very evolving situation as it stands right now. Before we do that, though, we've got to play this because this is one of the greatest clips ever. Alex Jones drunk on Timcast is just too good. All right.
Come back. I'm gonna come back.
Come back whenever you want.
I want to get awesome.
Couple weeks.
Here for South by Southwest.
We're not here for it, but we're here during it. You know, one of the reasons I came down here is I was going to be playing poker at the lodge, and then the state shut them down. I'm pissed about it.
What's weird was I texted you a week ago. Somebody texted me and said, "Hey, Tim's here. Come on the show." I'm like, "Am I supposed to be on your show?" Like, I don't know, but play poker. But
yeah, well, we want to do a poker game with you and a few other people. Not so much about poker, but about having fun, goofing off, and I think it'd be really fun to play a game.
I'm ready. I'm ready. But don't follow me at Real Life Shows on X, Danforce.com. We're getting shut down. We beat so many attacks, but finally we're shutting down like the middle of next month.
Wow,
it's gonna be insane what happens. People,
Yeah. So
the fake receiverships, the fake auctions, all of it's happening right now.
So what are you gonna do? You're launching a new thing, or what are you doing?
Yeah, auctions now. We're really fine.
All right. Well, are you leaving? Is that why you're saying all this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am exhausted, brother.
Well, it's good to have you.
Now this is 4 a.m. Unless you're gonna do a table dance for me.
No.
He's not on this table.
None of this. Yeah.
Maybe next time.
These things are probably like
Yeah,
$20.
it's really not going to withstand anybody.
Oh no, these are okay.
Well, my wife over there.
But
Pull it
Maybe
off.
do a table dance.
Where's she?
You sound tired. You should look like falling asleep.
I'm exhausted.
Have a nice rest, man.
Well, it's good having you, brother. Just come back whenever you want.
Go for hours, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go for another 2 hours.
I want to come back.
You are allowed. That is acceptable.
Here for 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Do not visit Real Life Shows on X. Do not follow it.
Too late. They're there right now. Real Alex Jones on X. Did you get it?
But imagine a giant Joe Rogan pussy right up there. We're like,
Oh boy, Alex Jones, the most entertaining man in the world. There's nobody more entertaining than Alex Jones, especially a drunk Alex Jones. I hope he's doing okay. I guess he had announced that he was stopping drinking last year or whatever. Clearly he didn't. I hope he's doing okay. But yeah, I just saw that pop up my timeline and I had to check it out. Kate for 20 says blah, blah, blah. Sabaton. Straight to the point. Kate Banfield. We will close with that tonight. Kevin Hunts for 50 says, oh, you got Ripa at Megacon. I know what you were saying. That's awesome. I see your spelling. I see that, Kevin. I know what you're up to, brother. Doug Diggs says, another CobraCast. Thanks, Jeremy. And Hail to 199. Thank you. Okay, let's get into the Joe Kent stuff because, yeah, it's getting weird. It's getting weird. Joe Kent did an interview with Tucker Carlson. And this is literally a day after he announces his resignation from the Trump administration. And, you know, like, I don't know what to make of this whole story. I really don't. But as I've said, the Joe Kent story goes all the way back from to Nick Fuentes, where he worked with Nick Fuentes. He apparently had no problem with Fuentes and he wanted to work with him. And he said he would never disavow him. And they even said that they would keep it on the low because Fuentes knew that his connection to him would not be good for his political career, but they wanted to support him on a grassroots effort. He agreed completely. And then once things got a little too hot, he suddenly disavowed Nick Fuentes. So that kind of shows how quick this guy will just flip out of nowhere. And of course, there's a ton of video, there's a ton of tweets of him basically asking President Trump to take care of Iran, talked about how there's Iran sleeper cells that are attacking, our allies and our soldiers. And, he becomes, part of the counterterrorism. He's the director of the counterterrorism. And suddenly he just out of nowhere up and quits. And it gets viral traction on Twitter. It had 700,000 likes on Twitter, 50-something million views. Everything went crazy. Within, it felt like hours of him announcing his departure. Suddenly he says, I've got an interview with Tucker Carlson, another guy that's recently, been on the outs with Trump or whatever. It's just the weirdest thing. And during his interview, which he said many things, but he said this right here.
And then, Charlie Kirk is killed publicly in a very horrific way. And we're not really even allowed to look into that at all. And Charlie Kirk was one of President Trump's closest advisors. And he also advocated heavily against a war with Iran. He was in the Oval Office in the lead up to the 12-day war. I wasn't particularly close with Charlie. He was very gracious to me when I was running for Congress, very, very supportive. So we knew each other. And the last time I saw Charlie Kirk on this earth was in June in the West Wing in the stairway. And I said hi to him and he looked me in the eye and he said very loudly, and you've been in the West Wing. It's small. It's a tight space. And he said, Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran. Very loudly.
He was single-minded.
And he walked off and he went, I believe, into the Oval.
A lot of people may hear that and go, that's bullshit. But, guys, I'm going to tell you a story I've never told you before. The last time I talked to Charlie Kirk, you're going to be surprised, but he literally said the very thing that I want him to say in order to push my agenda forward too. You're not going to believe this, but my last text message with Charlie Kirk, he said, hey, Jeremy, what's going on, big dog? Charlie liked to call me big dog. I said, hey, Charlie, what up, bro? And I had it with some enthusiasm, and he said, I hope everybody sends you super chats on your stream. And I want you to tell them Charlie Kirk said so. And I was like, thanks, man. I appreciate that. So again, it seems like Charlie always says the motivating thing for anyone. That was their last conversation with Charlie. So whatever agenda you want to push, whatever thing you're motivated by, Charlie Kirk said this very thing to me in his passing message. Like, seriously, does anybody believe this bullshit? Like, this dude is going to say, in the West Wing, Charlie Kirk loudly said, hey, Joe Kent, keep us out of war with Iran. What are you talking about? Seriously, does anybody believe this shit? And then, again, this is the part, I didn't really want to make this part public, but Charlie then, he texted me a word that I'll never forget. Freedom. Not freedom. No. Freedom. Yeah. It was a pretty powerful moment. Not to be confused with Kamala Harris's freedom story. No. I would never do that. Now, again, let me drop the sarcasm for a minute. I think it is absolutely disgusting for these people to use Charlie Kirk and lie about Charlie Kirk in order to push forward their anti-Trump agenda. This is fucking disgusting. What happened to Charlie Kirk is one of the most horrific things we have ever seen. Charlie Kirk, by all accounts, was a genuinely good human being. I was not a fan of Charlie Kirk's. I'm not going to pretend that I was. I didn't watch Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to sit here and retroactively pretend like I was a big Charlie Kirk fan like a lot of people want to do. I wasn't. But it's clear that everybody that had any interactions with Charlie only had good, positive things to say about him. And then you go back and watch all of the clips of Charlie Kirk interacting with people, debating people. He was so smart. He was incredibly smart. Next level intelligence from Charlie Kirk. He built an amazing company and he did right by so many people. Had a wonderful family. And ultimately, tragically, was taken from this world way, way, way too soon. And that is a tragedy, and it's a terrible tragedy. And that should be looked upon in a respectful way, not in a way to forward your own personal agendas. It's disgusting that this guy and many other people are doing that. If, in fact, Charlie Kirk said that to you, why are you saying it now in the moment that you need to manipulate people the most? It's just ridiculous. It really is. I can't believe it, man. So we got Speaker Johnson talking about Joe Kent right here.
How is that not an imminent threat?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm not sure what Joe Kent is reading, but it's not the same intel that I've seen. Look, I'm on the Gang of Eight. We got all the briefings before this operation in Iran began. We got briefings during and then after it commenced. And the intelligence was exquisite. It was very clear this was an imminent threat to the United States and America's interest, and the commander-in-chief did exactly the right thing. He had to protect American lives. We knew that those ballistic missiles that they were stockpiling and preparing were going to be fired at our troops and our civilians and our installations in the region. And so the commander-in-chief did what he had to do. Joe Kent seemed to understand that until about 24 hours ago. I'm not sure what happened there. There's lots of discussion about it on Capitol Hill, as you can imagine. We're trying to get down to the bottom of it, but he is an outlier. I'm telling you, as we noted earlier, Bongino and others have said, everyone else in the administration and everyone who sees the actual intelligence understands clearly that the president did what he had to do.
Mike Johnson looks like he was created in a Hollywood studio of a typical politician that would be slimy, but also knows how to say all the right things. I don't like Mike Johnson at all. He does, man. He is straight out of House of Cards, man. He really is, like, straight up out of, yes, he looks like a Pixar character. Holy shit, how have I never seen that? He is a, all right, I'm not going to steal it, Fourth Observer. You're getting credit for it right here, all right? But from this point forward, Fourth Observer is the person that said it. Mike Johnson is the Pixar Speaker of the House. He legit looks like a Pixar politician. Holy shit, that's good. You win, sir. You win. That's damn good. Holy crap. Now, right here, we have breaking news from Fox News. Here we go.
I'm going to go. Sources are saying that Joe Kent, the former director of the United States National Counterterror Center, this is from Semaphore, he just resigned. He's now under FBI investigation for allegedly leaking classified information. And the investigation predates his departure. Congressman, your reaction to that tonight? Wow.
Well, there's a lot there, and I think that we need to let this investigation play out, but we shouldn't tolerate any leakers in the administration, particularly regarding classified national security interests and information. So we'll let this play out and see where it goes. But if he was leaking, he ought to be held accountable just like anybody else would be.
Now, 5 minutes ago, he seemed to think that Iran was a big threat, and then suddenly that threat went away. It was very odd.
It is a very, like, it's very much, you know, it's behavior that to me is pretty obvious that something big had to happen. Either this guy was manipulated and paid off by powerful entities to flip his opinion, or, and this now seems to make even more sense, the walls were closing in on him. And so he decided, hey, let me resign and get as much traction on social media as possible, run to Tucker Carlson, do an interview with him, and get as much, you know, good publicity that I can. And in fact, he's getting it too by the usual suspects. And in fact, we got Megyn Kelly says, you want to rip the GOP apart right at its core and prevent a single America First voter from participating in the midterms? Indict Joe Kent and Tucker Carlson. See how that works. So we're just not supposed to, investigate someone that was leaking confidential government information. What? So your threat is we're not going to vote if you hold people accountable. This is fucking retarded, dude. What are we talking about right now? This is absolutely insane. And on top of that, Megyn Kelly sends this tweet out earlier. Check this out, okay? Holy shit, is this real? Someone says the Fox News graphic merging the American and Israeli flag is absolutely disgusting to me. It's got the Iran flag on the other fucking side. They're talking about Operation Epic Fury. The United States and Israel are working together in the operation versus Iran. That's what the point of the graphic is. You're getting offended over that? What the fuck is wrong with these people, man? Good Lord. Holy shit, is this real? Oh my God. Oh my God. It's crazy, man. It really is. So fake offended. Yes, fake offended. Yeah, the nonsense is hitting another level right now with all of this shit. I just can't take these clowns seriously. Tucker, so it has been revealed that Joe Kent was booked on Tucker Carlson's show an hour after his resignation. And when the show released, there were hundreds of accounts posting the same clip with the same messaging all at once. Look at there. Same message all at once. Joe Kent tells Tucker Carlson that Israel dragged the U.S. into a war with Iran. Information war. Information war. Information war. Information war. That's it, man. And they know that they will run with this 100%. So, I hope you know what you're talking about these days, because there's a lot of people that are getting caught up in a lot of things, and they are essentially preying upon people that will eat this stuff up right now. They really are. JDT199 says this man has no, I don't even know what the fuck. I'm from America. Okay. Get the fuck out of here. Let's see. Greedy Freedy says, did you see the channel Gadgets, Geeks, and Gamers? Yeah, I'm not like, enough people are trying to tell those idiots that they have my copyright. I'm going to try to not go after them. Hopefully they just are smart enough to change their shit. So whatever. Demi Moore's Tapeworm says, I just discovered a PC is trans. The off switch is right there. Yesterday's joke, but still good. I wish I could meet you tards so I could be superior. One day. Let's see. Haywood says, with a smiley face. Madney says, because Charlie said so. Okay, I really don't want people sending those. It was complete sarcasm on that. Like, the point being is that guy basically just used the tragedy of Charlie Kirk's assassination to try to push forward his agenda, because he's essentially reportedly, allegedly been caught leaking documents as a government employee. And so he's deciding to pull Charlie Kirk's name and go, Charlie believed in everything I'm saying too. It's just disgusting, man. Mickey says that because Charlie said so, Tax. Storm Shadow says, Charlie told me Jeremy and Beardo are gay. Bird Up says, convincing my wife that Charlie's last words to me were to buy a Sega Master System and 40 games tax. Giggity says, Charlie was a big advocate for supers. Storm Shadow says, Charlie last told me Interstellar was overrated. Dark Red Knight says, because Charlie said so. The man bro dude says, wasn't going to go tomorrow, but I had a free day. See you at the booth. Let's go, man. We will be there. We will be there. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. And again, when you guys introduce yourself as your screen name. Because like, if you come up, you're like, my name's, Randy. And I'm like, okay. And like, I'm the man bro dude. Oh, hey, like, I don't know who the fuck you are. If you give me your like regular name, I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you are. So Diz L just says, be at Megacon tomorrow with Bon Jovi vinyl for Gary. Let's freaking go. I'm Randy Quaid. And show proof on our phone. Yeah, that's true. Laughing Man says, Jeremy doesn't know who I am. Laughing Man's always mad at me. And I will say this. I've been really hoping to earn Laughing Man's respect back. Laughing Man has not sent me a super chat in probably 6 months. So I'm hoping to earn his respect back. I did something. I lost his respect a while back. But I'm hoping I think I can earn his respect back. But yeah, it's been at least 6 months since he sent me a super chat. Terrible, man. Let's see. Okay, what is this right here? What is this clip?
Was Iran on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon?
No, they weren't, 3 weeks ago when this started, and they weren't in June either. I mean, the Iranians have had a religious ruling, a fatwa, against actually developing a nuclear weapon since 2004. That's been in place since 2004. That's available in the public sphere. But then also we had no intelligence to indicate that fatwa was being disobeyed or it was on the cusp of being lifted. The Iranian strategy, it's actually pretty pragmatic. The Iranians are obviously aware of what's taking place in their region, and their strategy was to not completely abandon their nuclear program, because they saw what happened to Muammar Gaddafi in Libya when he said, hey, I've got no more nukes. I'll do what you say. I'll give up my nukes.
And we gave him the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yeah, we regime changed him, and he was, executed by his own people in the most horrific way.
Sodomized by a bayonet. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the lesson I think that the entire region took from that when Hillary Clinton.
Unfortunately, that's what the neocon, neoliberal warmongers, that's the lesson that they showed everyone in the region. And then conversely, the Iranians also knew that if they came out and said, okay, we've got a nuke, whether they were bluffing or not, Saddam Hussein, Iraq right next door. So they kind of had this,
hung, I think.
He was hung by his own people, after a bloody, war that's still essentially.
He sounds nervous. I mean, I'm sure he's nervous, even if regardless if he's lying or if he's telling the truth. I mean, I would be able to cut him some slack on just the fact, would he be nervous or not? The dude has more attention on him than he's ever had in his entire life. But with that said, when you look at all of the patterns of behavior from him and his language and how supportive he was of going after Iran until maybe 48 hours ago, and then you look back on the history with Nick Fuentes and how that whole thing played out and how he completely went back on his word and his agreement with Fuentes, it starts to make a lot of sense that this guy probably knows the walls are closing in on him big time.
That's still essentially going on inside of Iraq. So the Iranians' position, when viewed from the lens of the region, was actually fairly pragmatic. They were preventing, themselves from developing a bomb, but they still wanted the ability. They wanted the ability to enrich. They wanted the ability to have some components so that they weren't completely stripped of it. And when we always assessed that they were either several months or a year, 2 years away from actually being able to develop a nuclear weapon. And that's not because the Iranians are stupid people. I think we can tell right now that the Iranians are anything but stupid. They had the ability, I think, that the brain power to actually develop one, or they could have simply traded a ton of oil with Pakistan or someone else to actually get a nuclear weapon. They were not doing that. We had no intelligence to indicate that they were.
Do you guys think that there's a serious, I saw this theory out there that Tucker Carlson is positioning himself to run for president in 2028. Do you think that that's a serious idea in his head, that Tucker is trying to position himself for 2028? That's what that seems to be some theories out there, that Tucker is trying to do that. I don't think Tucker has I think that with Tucker not being in Trump's good graces, he stands zero chance. He stands zero chance. I'm not asking if you're for it, though. Yes, I'm asking, do you think it's a possibility? I know most people here are not going to be for it, but do you think that Tucker might be positioning himself for that? Tucker has said he doesn't want it. Yeah, I know, Isaac. So did Trump. A lot. Tucker says a lot of shit that he doesn't stand by. So Tucker saying is same with Stephen A. Smith when I kept saying Stephen A. is going to test the waters. You know what I mean? He's trying to be a kingmaker. Yeah, the problem is Tucker's only path to being a kingmaker would have been staying in Trump's good graces until Trump eventually is out of the public eye, which probably is another 5 or 10 years from now. But with like Trump is the one and only kingmaker there is. There is no other kingmaker. Like it's only Trump. He is the only person that has the influence and the power and the ability to be a kingmaker. Elon can't do it. Who else you want to throw out there? Any of the more influential people? Joe Rogan can't do it. Nobody else can do it. Trump is the only person. He's the only person that is the true kingmaker. So Tucker there's no way. Tucker could have maybe potentially been a kingmaker if he stayed in the good graces of Trump for the next 10 years. And then he could have maybe moved into that role. But that ship has completely sailed. DeSantis going against Trump is all the evidence we need. That is very true right there. That is exactly it. DeSantis, I know it's easy to look back on DeSantis now and think of him as a joke of a candidate. But the reality of it was that Ron DeSantis truly had momentum before he entered the race against Trump. There was some legitimate momentum. And then he walked into a fucking buzzsaw. As soon as he walked into the Trump buzzsaw, it was over. The man walked away beaten and bloodied and not the same. And I'm not sure, again, I say this as a person that lives in Florida who loves Ron DeSantis, who thinks he's great. I don't know, man. I don't know how I view Ron DeSantis like moving forward. I'm not sure. I like him a lot as a governor on the national stage. I don't know. I don't know how it will play because he just embarrassed himself so badly against Trump. It was so unbelievable. Let's see. Dermot Wormer says, Joe's just repeating the same talking points all the Israel First people. Heck, you can replace him with Dave Smith and they would sound the same. 1,000%. 1,000%. That is as accurate as it gets right there. DeSantis was the if Trump goes to jail option. And a lot of people felt that way too. A lot of people felt like Trump was going. I don't know if they felt that Trump was going to be put in jail, but I truly believe that they thought that the lawsuits and the indictments would slow Trump down so much that it was going to affect his ability to run. I think that they thought that the indictments would hurt Trump in the public eye. And I think that that was their reasoning. I don't think anyone thought that Trump would actually go to jail. But I do believe that they looked at it and said, he's going to get indicted 4 times. There are lawsuits coming after this guy. There's the insurrection stuff. They looked at it and they said, he can't survive this. Not only did he survive it, he thrived off of it. He thrived. It's the most unbelievable. Like, the only thing that's more unbelievable than 2016 Trump is 2024 Trump. We all said, like in 2016, there's never going to be anything like it. Trump winning the way he did, we're never going to see anything like that again. And guess what? Then he did it again in 2024, even better. It's craziest story ever, man. It really is. Vivek lost real support when he started pushing for H1B. Yes, he did. And I haven't looked, but I feel like he's losing a lot of, like, he's not tracking very well in Ohio the last I looked. I haven't been following that very closely, though, so I could be wrong. But the last I looked, which was, I don't know, like a month ago, his numbers in Ohio are not that great right now. Maybe that's changed, but we'll see. Kevin says, so you agree with Candace Owens about speaking on Kirk's last words, or you agree with Tim Pool about the anti-Israel? You cooked. I have no idea what the fuck you're saying, Kevin. What I'll say is that if you can, so you've already dropped 100 tonight. Kevin, if you can drop me another 100 and 150, that would have helped us beat Candace yesterday. Okay? That would have helped us beat Candace in Super Chats. So there you see it right there. Okay? So drop me another 100, and then we can pass Candace Owens in Super Chats. Okay? That's all I'm saying with Candace. And to further confirm that my channels are dead, a famous YouTuber once said, Geeks and Gamers only finished 12th yesterday, bro. Fuck. Geeks and Gamers finished 12th. We couldn't even break 2 channels in the top 10. Are you fucking kidding me? What a dead fucking network I have. We are done. It's over. It's over with. Couldn't even get 2 channels in the top 10. Pathetic. Pack it up, boys. G&G is dead. It's over. Salty Cracker keeps saying your channels are dead. Yes. Mitchell says Tucker Carlson has fallen far since 2024. It's really crazy. It really is. Andrew 230 says so much for all that Minnesota fraud. Well, actually, there's California fraud that Nick Shirley is focusing in on now. Alex Arrowcase says coming to Orlando Friday, Meta PC code 199. Let's go. Quentin says, where's Titanfall 3? Is it okay? Is it all right? A Money Wilson says dead channel tax. Fuck yeah, let's go. Dead channel tax in the house. VJ the Village says rule number 1, never trust anyone who has worn a bow tie. I mean, I guess I should kind of go back to like my original feelings. But again, when Tucker fully embraced MAGA and MAGA fully embraced him and Trump fully embraced Tucker, I was all in on the Tucker Carlson, bandwagon. I can't deny it. I just was. And I don't hate Tucker Carlson at this point in time. I just question where this is all coming from. And maybe it could be as simple as don't hate the player, hate the game. It could be. I kind of wonder if there's a lot more going on, though, for sure. Because right now, I mean, we are in the influencer world. And in the influencer world, it's all about one-upping the other people that are doing the same thing as you. And that's where Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and Piers Morgan and, Don Lemon and all these other people are, where they're just like, we have to keep getting crazier and crazier to continue to get the views and continue to get the traction. And so do you hate the player or do you hate the game? Don't know. So, Dwayne says, do I fucking care? Why don't you tell me? I can't do it as good as Mike. Why don't you tell me if you fucking care? I'll tell you who doesn't care. Hulk Hogan doesn't care. I'm not even going to try it. Mike's just so much better. Why don't you tell me? Kevin, you fucking idiot. And I say it with love. I love you, Kevin. Cooked on logic. Cool channels, though. Good job on Woke Hollywood. Are you a dual citizen? Don't give out. If get to Liberty, bomb, or steal nukes. You an agent. Got a tiny hat under your hat. Kevin, I have already said this many times, including on the phone when you called me the other day. There is no evidence of me being involved with Israel. You guys keep saying this shit, and I'm just keep saying there's no evidence that I have any connection towards Israel at all. There's nothing to support this. So I don't know where this keeps coming from, but I have to keep setting the record straight. And I will. I'll keep saying it if I have to. All right. Thank you, Kev. Kevin, sometimes Kevin will call me and he sounds like Alex sounded on Timcast. And I'm like, I don't understand anything you're saying, Kevin. So I just kind of give him like a courtesy laugh. I'm like, yeah, that's right. And then he just calls me words that I can't repeat here on YouTube. Mitchell Field says, a normal person, the lawsuits would have slowed down, but Trump had the money to fight back. This is why they started making him sit in the courts and not just have his lawyers present. 100%. 100%. Why don't you tell me? Let's see. The local Rex for 10 says, in 2 weeks, when Iran is over and we've moved on to Cuba, these idiots will still be talking about Israel. Trump moves too fast for grifters and come lately asshats to keep up. Snake pick, keep snake. Hey, this is exactly correct right here. This right here is it. All right. 100%. Remember this right here. Remember this, because this is exactly what's going to happen. All right? When Cuba's happening, we're taking over Cuba, then all these people are going to be like, well, they're going to come up with something else. This right here is exactly where we're going to be. And all of these people that are, because again, it's constant with Trump. They're constantly coming up with new reasons of why Trump is involved with this, or he's controlled by that, controlled by this, controlled by that. And then it keeps getting proven wrong. And then they just keep shifting it over and over again. Kevin says, good one. You laughed for real. There were a couple I did laugh for real. You are absolutely right. Thank you, Kevin. Mr. No One says, why don't you tell me, Tex? Jin versus Evil Dead says, follow your dreams. You can reach your goals. I'm living proof. Beefcake. Eric Cartman, motivational speaker, apparently. Thank you. I appreciate it. A-Rod says, Tim Pool said tonight he would have voted for Dave Smith over Trump. Tell me he's being sarcastic, or either tell me this just didn't happen. And if it did happen, somebody give me a clip right now. There is no fucking way he said that not being sarcastic. There's no way. Did he really say this? It had to be sarcasm. It had to be. That sarcasm, no way. It did? You're telling me he said this like for real? He did and he was serious? No fucking way. Somebody find this clip for me. I have to see this. I have to see it. Thomas Jane is still the best Punisher. I mean, I'm not like, I love the Thomas Jane Punisher. I just prefer Bernthal in the role, but Thomas Jane Punisher is the best Punisher story that we've had on screen, no doubt about it. Yeah, I got to hear this clip though. MAGA Conservative says Google Play No Mercy for Android. Did you just plug something on my stream? Do you understand that this is a high quality show? Okay, this is a high quality show. And you just came in here with a super chat trying to advertise something. I appreciate that. Like, you didn't even say, like, I'm going to drop 10. I'm going to drop 50. You're like, I'm going to drop $2 and make this stupid fucking streamer read in front of thousands of people my Google Play ad, and he's going to do it. I fucking respect it. He just $2 said, fuck you. You got enough people dropping big super chats on you. Go fuck yourself. You're going to read this, and then you're going to drag it out and put more attention on it, and I'm going to be the puppet master. $2. I respect it. Now people are like, now I'm curious. Quentin Daniel says, Tom, I got that one. Mitchell Field says, after Cuba, what does the chat think is next? That's a good one. After Cuba, what? He says, thanks, bro. All good, man. Right back at you. After Cuba, what does the chat think is next? Well, here's what needs to happen, okay? In my humble opinion. So you got Iran. Let's hypothetically say that this is over in a couple of weeks, okay? Okay. You got Iran. Dealt with that. Oil prices are hopefully going to start dropping very soon after we're done with that. Then we move on to Cuba, take care of Cuba. At this point in time, I think, I'm just being as honest as I can, foreign policy is not going to help you in the midterms. At this point in time, it's not going to help you in the midterms. You need to focus on domestic issues. You need to focus on domestic. That needs to be the focus. But just get to the midterms and then get the midterms over with. Hopefully, landslide the midterms. And then you've got the full-on Trump agenda after that. Nothing stands in Trump's way after you get the midterms behind you. Now, I still think we're in very good shape on the midterms. However, we got to be careful here. All right? Because we got to get the Save America Act. We've got to get that passed. I'm not sure how long that's going to take, but getting through the midterms has got to be the focus. Foreign policy stuff is in a good place, but that's not going to turn the needle where we need to have it turned right now. So I think that focusing more on domestic stuff, I see a lot of people mentioning Greenland and Mexico and Canada and all that. I just don't know if any of that really turns the needle for what we need for the midterms. But we'll see. Kate says, whatevs. I'm representing the 10%. We've been kind of quiet. You're up to 11% now, Kate, just to be clear. All right. You're up to 11%. That's right. Quentin says Chrono Trigger is still the GOAT video game and original soundtrack. Jeremy is wrapping up stream. No, I'm not. I think that there is, and again, you know how I like to do this. I like to have my personal opinion on things, but I like to have the wider perception or perspective as well. So, like, for instance, Lord of the Rings is not my favorite movies. I do believe they're the best movies ever made, though. And I think there's a lot of factors that goes into that. But I just think that the Lord of the Rings trilogy is that's the greatest movies ever made. And that is separate from what I think my favorite movie is. I love the Lord of the Rings movies. I think they're phenomenal. I'm just saying they're not like they're in some of my favorite movies category. But Lord of the Rings is best ever. If you're doing that with video games, I think there's only a few that you could qualify as like objectively the greatest video games ever made. I think Chrono Trigger is definitely in there. I think Ocarina of Time, that's not even a thing. Ocarina of Time is in that conversation. All right. It just is. I also believe that you've got to have a mainline Mario game. And in my opinion, well, personally, my favorite Super Mario World, but I think that that's also the one that would be in that conversation. So I think you have those three games. You could also maybe put Halo 3 in that conversation. I think Halo 3 deserves to be in that. And there's a few more that you can throw in there. Half-Life 2 is right up there for me. I love Half-Life 2. But Chrono Trigger is definitely in the very, very, very short list of video games. Maybe we will carry that over to Tuesday night's main event next week. Angie for 10 says, a good one-liner to use on Beardo. You are so retarded, you could hide your own Easter eggs. Hail 199, Beardo extremely chunk tax. Thank you. Chrono Trigger isn't even top 10. Mr. Bentham, stop. Stop it. All right. Just a contrarian take. Chrono Trigger is in any conversation for the greatest video game ever made. Stop it. Don't even bring me that nonsense. That's you just trying to be edgy. Like, I'm going to be edgy. Chrono Trigger's overrated. Get the fuck out of here. Chrono Trigger's not overrated at all. I saw you laughing in the chat. Mitchell Field says, I got that one. Johnny Whiskett says, you also said you had evidence of Jay owning a farm. I do. Krista will have to show it on the next stream she's on. The local rec says, wish I could join for Megacon. I have to go to Harrah's Cherokee to watch the NCAA tourney with UGA and Kennesaw State games. Have a great weekend, IDOTS. Thank you, man. Be safe and have fun over there, brother. JDT says that he should legalize pot, executive order before midterms. Lock it in. Here's the thing, man. I find this is a very slippery slope for me. This is a very slippery slope because, like, I do believe that all drugs should be legal. I think it all should be. Like, if you're going to sell alcohol and tobacco, like, just sell fucking drugs. I don't give a shit. It takes the drug dealers off the streets and all of that, makes it more, easily accessible. I obviously don't do drugs. I've never done a drug in my life. I've never smoked a cigarette. I've never drank a beer. But the fact is like, I don't care what people do, but I do care about what pot does for the smell and the environment that it creates. That's what I hate. I hate that I smell pot all the fucking time if I'm near some fucking hippie fuck, some pothead that just can't stop smoking this shit. That's what I don't like. I fucking hate smelling that shit. So as long as I don't have to deal with it in any capacity, unless I choose to put myself in an environment where it's at, I don't really care. I don't care what people do. I don't care what I don't care. But when it affects me, when I'm not actively seeking out an environment that is partaking in that, it pisses me off. It does. But with that said, I am in favor of all this shit just being legal and letting people enjoy it to whatever they want. Who am I to tell you can't, put some fucked up drug in your body? It's not my business. And I kind of like have a really bad, I won't say bad, but like it's a very cold view on it. My view on it is, just let them take, like, the problem will take care of itself. Essentially, that's how I look at it. So with that said, then you can bring the conversation up of, okay, well, then what happens if these people are endangering other innocent people if they have wide access to drugs? And I'm like, that's a valid point that I'm not sure I'm fully prepared to answer that or understand that. So it's a very, like, it's a very detailed thing because there's more ramifications than just the individual that takes place. Because once you start making it widely available and widely acceptable, then it becomes a huge problem for people that have nothing to do with it. Much like drunk drivers killing people on the road. That's a huge issue. So I don't know what the true answer is, but I know that my personal answer is I would rather this stuff just be widely available for people to do it as they see fit. Quinn says, Conroy, greater than Bale, greater than West, greater than Keaton, greater than Kilmer, Clooney, ass flat. All right, let's go over this one really quick. So you got Kevin Conroy, number one. I think that is by far the most popular take. Bale, second. West, Keaton, Kilmer, Clooney, Batfleck. I think Keaton probably would be second in the popularity contest. I think Bale would be third. I think Batfleck would be fourth. I think West, Kilmer, then Clooney. I think that's how it would go. But maybe I'm wrong. For me, it's Bale. Bale's number one. Doomyverse is just rated. Look at that. Everybody's rating the channel tonight. Hell yes. Udite says, since you mentioned Ocarina of Time, I actually just got it. Inbox Collector's Edition for my first N64, which I recently got. Never played it before. Getting a CRT soon to play it for the first time. Enjoy, because you will love this. It will be one of the greatest gaming experiences. Even through all the time that's passed, Ocarina of Time still holds up very, very well. Very well. Let's see. Flag Ninja says, for anyone who loves Chrono Trigger, I recommend Secret of Evermore. Same game mechanics, but it's a boy and his dog story, while also being a love letter to the classic B movies from the 40s and 50s. Secret of Evermore, I've never played. I don't think. That one just passed me by. But what you just said is very intriguing now. So I don't think I've played Secret of Evermore. JDT says, yeah, I'm just saying legalizing will bring a lot of people over and secure midterms. Yeah, but I don't know where Trump is on this issue. I don't know where Trump is on it. And maybe he's talked about it. I don't know, but I'm not totally caught up on where Trump is on this particular issue of legalizing marijuana. So, oh man, dude, like the meme accounts are going crazy right now. Maybe I'm a terrible person for laughing at this. I can't help it. Maybe I'm a terrible person for laughing at this, but right here. Okay, Joe Kent is now allegedly alluding to the Trump administration being connected to the death of Charlie Kirk after claiming he was blocked from investigation of the death of Kirk, which he never had eligibility to do so, and went on to claim the last thing Charlie told him was a plea for him to stop the United States from getting into war with Iran. Does anybody really believe this? Like, come on, man.
I mean, we still don't know what happened. We still don't know what happened in Butler. We don't know what happened with Charlie Kirk. And by no means am I saying like, the Israelis did this or any of that, but I'm saying there's a lot of unanswered questions there. And
This is the same song and dance from every anti-Israel person. I'm not saying Israel did it, but there's a lot of questions about Israel and their involvement in it. And there's a lot of things that would lead you to believe that Israel did it. Now, I'm not saying Israel did this, but I'm saying there's a lot of things that point directly to Israel.
and there is enough data to at least say that there's a good chance that President Trump feels like he is under threat. We're not allowed to ask, basically, was there any linkage between what took place with Asif Merchant, who was recruited by the Iranians to come to America.
So when Trump said, and you said, hold on, let me see if I can pull this tweet up, because this is actually funny. All right, so Joe Kent. Let's see if I can find this. Okay, we got this. So right here, so you got this from Joe Kent back in 2020, talking about Iran. Okay. Joe Kent. We also have this right here. Hang on, I gotta find it. God, the algorithm is just buried with the Tucker Carlson shit right here. Here we go. So in a jab at resigned director Joe Kent, President Trump post when Kent told Trump to act against Iran. So here is Joe Kent in 2020 tagging Donald Trump, and he's basically saying, go after Iran. Like, what the fuck is happening, man? So, like, what changed? So how about when Trump warned Iran? Do you remember that? About assassinating him? I don't know if I can find that clip. Hang on. I gotta look for this one. Is this it right here? Right here. This, okay? This is Trump right here.
It's Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani.
Well, they haven't.
So this is months ago.
Done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do. Not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That'd be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. And
this is Trump talking about Iran threatening him. So he has left instructions that if Iran were to do anything to him, he has left instructions to obliterate them. There will be nothing left.
they shouldn't be able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why, lack of intelligence perhaps, but he never said it. If that happens to a leader or close to a leader, frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration of a state that did it. That would include Iran.
So like this insinuation that Trump is scared of a foreign country, because that's essentially what Joe Kent is saying. He's saying that Trump is scared. He's saying Trump is scared of Israel. That's what he's saying. He says Trump is compromised by Israel. He won't say it outright, but that is exactly what he's alluding to right there, which is fucking retarded.
Under threat. We're not allowed to ask, basically, was there any linkage between what took place with Asif Merchant, who was recruited by the Iranians to come to America to recruit proxies to kill President Trump. The FBI put a confidential human source at him. All this is public now. This is all out there in the open. And he's arrested. And then 2 days later, a sniper takes a shot at President Trump. We think Merchant and we know the CHS was talking about the human source that the FBI put at Merchant. They were talking about, hey, we could kill the president potentially with a sniper rifle. But then they arrest him. 2 days later, Butler happens. And Crooks, according to the official narrative anyways, is an enigma. We don't know anything about him. We can't get into his devices. If we did get into his devices, maybe there's nothing there. No more questions are allowed to be asked about Thomas Crooks. And then, Charlie Kirk is killed publicly in a very horrific way. And we're not really even allowed to look into that at all. And Charlie Kirk was one of President Trump's closest advisors, and he also advocated heavily against a war with Iran. He was in the Oval Office in the lead up to the 12-day war. I wasn't particularly close with Charlie. He was very gracious to me when I was running for Congress, very, very supportive. So we knew each other. And the last time I saw Charlie Kirk on this earth was in June in the West Wing, in the stairway. And I said hi to him, and he looked me in the eye, and he said very loudly, and it's a small, you've been in the West Wing, it's small, it's a tight space. And he said, Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran. Very loudly.
He was single-minded.
And he walked off, and he went, I believe, into the Oval. So when one of
like, seriously, like, do people actually believe this? Like, I'm trying to find it right now, okay? So do you remember this? Do you remember this? Do you remember this? Kamala Harris, freedom? Remember that story? This is where Joe Kent is right now.
That is almost identical to one Martin Luther King Jr. told back in 1965. Harris has repeatedly said this happened when she went to a civil rights rally as a young girl.
My mother used to have a very funny story about I was fussing and she said, Kamala, what do you want? And I said, and this is how she would say it. And she said, Kamala, what do you want? And I said, freedom.
No. Her story very similar to one MLK told about a black girl and a white police officer. He said, quote, what do you want? The policeman asked her gruffly. And the little girl looked at him straight in the eye and answered, feed him. All right, Greg, what do you think about this one?
Like, seriously, this dude is just, this is a clown show at this point.
President Trump's closest advisors, who is vocally advocating for us to not go to war with Iran and for us to rethink at least our relationship with the Israelis. And then he's suddenly publicly assassinated, and we're not allowed to.
Well, see, like, this is the thing about the Tucker Carlson side of things. Like, Tucker's not challenging anything that he's saying. This is the same Tucker that sat up there with Ted Cruz and just went off on Ted Cruz, which was awesome, by the way. He just went off on Ted Cruz, like completely annihilated Ted Cruz. It was great. I loved it. I don't like Ted Cruz. It was awesome. Why is he not challenging anything this fucking guy says? He's not asking him anything. There's no pushback. There's nothing.
Ask any questions about that. It's a data point. It's a data point that we need to look into.
What do you mean when you say we're not allowed to ask any questions about that?
We've been told that this individual.
Who is telling you that? You have resigned now. You are no longer part of this. Who is telling you that you cannot ask these questions? What level of access did you have in order to investigate this in the first place? And who in the administration has told you that you can't do this? Name names right now.
Robinson is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation that I was a part of, the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate. And the FBI will say that they stopped that because they wanted to have turn everything over to the Utah state authorities. Everything's going to trial. It's very, very sensitive. But there was still a lot for us to look into that I can't really get into. But there was still linkage for us to investigate that we needed to run down. And I'm not making any conclusions. I'm not saying
No, I don't think you are.
because of this happened. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there's unanswered questions. We know the pressure because of the text messages that have been made public, that Charlie was under a lot of pressure from a lot of pro-Israel donors. And again, we know Charlie was advocating to President Trump against this war with Iran. And we knew at the end of the 12-day war, at the end of Midnight Hammer, that the Israelis were going to come back and ask us to go back to war again.
Right.
So we have a lot of data points between Butler, the assassination attempts against President Trump, the breaches of his security, what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Can I just ask you to pause on the Charlie Kirk because it upsets me to
me too.
hear what you're saying, to be reminded that he was murdered, but also to hear you confirm what was reported in the media several months ago, that your office had been blocked.
If it bothers you so much, Tucker, why wouldn't you say, Joe, appreciate you being here. I really do. But I have to ask you, like, with the Charlie Kirk situation, this is such a terrible, terrible, moment that we all witnessed. And for you to kind of say that you had this direct interaction with Charlie Kirk and that was the last thing that he ever said to you, do you understand that there's going to be a lot of people that question you on that? They're going to question your motivation to even make this public, considering what happened to Charlie. What would you say to any criticisms about that? Because that's going to get you a lot of blowback. Why couldn't you just say something like, if you're so bothered by the Charlie Kirk thing, Tucker, if you're so moved by it and it's so bothersome to you, wouldn't you be bothered by someone potentially using Charlie Kirk's death to push their fucking agenda forward?
From investigating his murder, that does not make sense to me.
I mean,
then fucking ask who. Ask this guy who. It's crazy. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen. The hell is going on? And Dan Bongino, somebody I'm not a fan of, but he did have this to say tonight when he was asked about the Joe Kent situation.
Sean, this is cowardly by these people who you mentioned who are doing this, because what they do is they call out Donald Trump's entire cabinet and circle of friends and advisors, but they never call out Trump because they know they'll get crushed like a bug. They know it, and then the grift dries up. Then the money dries up. So what they do is, because they have no balls, say it again, no balls, grow a pair.
Dude, again, this is what this falls apart for me every time. Speaking of no balls, Dan Bongino, that's literally you. That's literally you when you were in the FBI deputy director role. That's you. You sat there with no balls next to Kash Patel and said, he killed himself. I've seen the files. He killed himself. I can never forget that moment. And then you're going to sit up here now that you're back to being a podcast bro, and now you're going to talk tough again. You're going to talk tough again. Yeah, you got no balls. Where was this guy at when you fucking worked for the fucking people?
They don't want to take him on directly because he will crush them. So they go about attacking everyone else. They do this all the time. And I call this the Donald Trump has no agency theory. Like, Donald Trump doesn't have the ability to think for himself. You've known him longer than I have. I had the pleasure of working for him. You don't know jack squat about this guy if you think he's getting dog walked around by anyone. He's the one walking the damn dog. I promise.
Honestly, it kind of just makes me want to support Joe Kent after hearing that. I should have never listened to that. Like, I'm more convinced now Joe Kent's telling the truth after Dan Bongino. Now I'm just like, maybe Kent has something going on here because Dan Bongino completely just ruined all credibility. God, I can't stand that guy, man. Dark Sports Right says amazing how he comes out after all the information amazing how he comes out with all this information after getting canned and being under investigation. Perfect like that. I do think that Joe Kent knows that he can make a lot of money in a short amount of time from the anti-Israel crowd before he probably gets in some big trouble. And hey, if that's your game, then go for it. That's really what I think he's looking at. He's probably hitting up Tucker. He's like, what kind of donations are you getting from the anti-Israel crowd? And Tucker's like, it's quite a bit, actually. It's quite a bit. And so he's basically like, if you just run for like 2 weeks of like, you got all this insider information that Israel is responsible, you'll get like hundreds of thousands of dollars from these fucking retards who believe everything you say. That's essentially what is going on, probably. That's what my guess is. Mar Millen, who didn't drop the pre-stream grift tax, but dropped 5 gifted memberships. We're okay with that. Thank you, brother. JT says, I got that one. Got that one. Mitchell says, we disagree on Die Hard, but The Crossing is George Washington's crossing of the Delaware River during Christmas, the ultimate Christmas movie. Well, I love Die Hard. I just don't really consider Die Hard a Christmas movie. But Die Hard's a great movie. Flag Ninja says, for anyone who loves Chrono Trigger, I got that one. Thank you. A-Rod says, 124 timestamp, pool vote Dave Smith over Trump. That's on tonight's show. Okay. Let me see here. So what was it? Timcast IRL? Let's see. Timcast IRL. Okay, 124. 124 timestamp. Okay, let's see.
Trump derangement syndrome, but that's okay. You're always allowed to criticize the president, not like the guy. And Bill Maher made a really great point. I love it. He said the Democrats lost a crazy contest to a crazy person. And that really hits the nail on the hammer for me. Trump, for all of his faults that he can be criticized for, is the less crazy of the people running, which is just Trump. Yes.
Yes, the Democrats lost.
I'm going to say it again. Bill Maher, lifelong liberal guy, he, in my view, represents what Democrats need to be, saying the Democrats lost a crazy contest to a crazy person. He does not like Trump. He views Trump as crazy. And I will say it again, for all of Trump's faults, he is the least crazy of the people who ran for president. To be fair, I'd vote for Dave Smith over either of them, but he didn't run.
I think
I'm not
said
Hang on, let's see. Let's see. So let's see. Didn't he what was he I know he didn't run, but I was looking it up. What he was considering running, but he didn't ultimately run on the libertarian side. Am I right about that? I'm trying to remember. But my point being is that I'm trying to remember who the guy's name is. Chase something. Chase is it Chase Oliver? Is that his name? Chase Oliver. That's the guy that represents the Libertarian Party. Gay Chase Oliver. So Dave Smith, who's this libertarian, and he's really upset about Donald Trump. But the guy that runs his party is this guy. This is the guy that represents Dave Smith's people. Mm-hmm. This is your Libertarian Party nominee right here. Yep. Boy, oh boy. But, you know, Dave Smith's real, let's see, right here. That's him. So there he is. Jesus. Chase Oliver is gay, and his support for LGBT rights has led several state parties to oppose his selection as the Libertarian presidential nominee. Oh, play for another 15 seconds. Okay, let me go back to it. All right, so let's back this up.
He views Trump as crazy, and I will say it again. For all of Trump's faults, he is the least crazy of the people who ran for president. To be fair, I'd vote for Dave Smith over either of them, but he didn't run.
I think
I'm not going to vote for Chase and the gay communist Libertarian Party.
The Democrats lost the crazy contest to the crazy person. That was the point. Which is
the point he was making.
They couldn't be crazy enough, you know. This guy. I no, fucking no. Sorry, Kayla. What are you saying?
Well, I don't know that makes sense in the way you're interpreting it.
Yeah,
because that would not be a point of contention. It would be, I'm glad they lost.
But again, so you have to understand this. So Tim is your typical podcast bro. Tim has gone from Trump is irrelevant. Trump can never win again. This is before 2024. This is back in 2022 where he essentially said, and I don't want to quote him word for word, and I wish I could find the video where he said it, but there was a video. It wasn't a live stream. It was a video on one of his channels, and he was talking about Donald Trump. And this is before everything kind of went down in 2024. But he essentially said Donald Trump is old and he's tired and he's going to retire. It's either 2022 or 2023 he said this. He said, Donald Trump is old, he's tired, and he's done. He said he's done. He doesn't want to do this anymore. He doesn't have the energy for it anymore. And I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking? I remember like watching them going, what are you talking about? Yes, Tim did say that. He did. If somebody can find that clip for me, I would love to react to that here. But I don't remember. It's been so long ago, so I don't know. But anyway, so Tim said Donald Trump needs to retire. He's old. He doesn't want to do this anymore. He doesn't have the energy for it anymore. He's completely checked out, yada, yada, yada. This is 2022 or 2023. Of course, we end up with the greatest run in political history in 2024 from Donald Trump. And Tim was all in. Tim's like, oh, this is it. We need Trump. We need Trump. We need Trump. This is the greatest thing we've ever seen, you know? And then Trump doesn't do a couple things Tim doesn't want. And Tim's like, I would have voted for Dave Smith over Trump. It's just like these people just are all over the place, man. These people are all over the fucking place. None of them actually believe any of this shit. None of them. They just will go with whatever way the wind blows. That's it. Tim was so proud to have Timcast IRL, to have White House press credentials and all that shit. He was so happy about that. You remember when everybody was telling me, Jeremy, you should apply for White House press credentials. I don't fucking want them. I don't want to be involved in the Trump administration. I don't want their fucking access. I don't want to go to Mar-a-Lago. Like if it happens naturally, then that would kind of be cool, but I'm not going to actively beg and seek this shit out because I don't do that I don't do this for that. I don't do this to be part of this fucking gay world that all of these losers are part of. It's never been my intention. I don't. Personally, like, I don't even like we're doing the con stuff here this weekend. I don't really like that stuff. However, the people that we get to meet is awesome. All right. The people and the people that support us, it's truly just a thank you for everything you guys do for us. Gives us the opportunity to do what we do. So we put these things together as a thank you to the people that support us. But the reality of it is I don't really like going to cons. I don't like the mumbo jumbo that goes along with it. And my gosh, Megacon this year has been a headache. So much red tape. You have no idea. Maybe I'll talk about it afterwards. Maybe after the fact, I will talk about all the bullshit that we've been jumping through. But Either way, it's for the people. And so, but people like Tim and like what they truly want is they do want to be the mainstream. They want to be accepted by the mainstream. They want to be treated like the mainstream. They want to be catered to like the mainstream. Reality of it is Tim Pool is a multi-millionaire many times over. Tim Pool has a legitimately great life. And he's always complaining about wanting more and wanting more and wanting more. This motherfucker has a great fucking life. He will never want for anything. And he wants to sit there and complain about this country that has given him every fucking opportunity. This bald, ugly motherfucker is sitting there making money on top of himself. And I'm not talking about myself, although that could apply. I'm talking about Tim, who looks like he would be a part-time fucking mechanic at a fucking local fucking, shop that nobody's ever heard of, some hole-in-the-wall fucking shop in West fucking Virginia. But instead, he's a fucking multimillionaire to sit on the fucking internet and sit in this great country and speak freely about this shit. And the man who took a bullet for you, the man who put his entire life on the line, put his entire legacy on the line, put his family's legacy on the line, put his business on the line, put it all on the line. You're going to sit there and turn on him in a fucking second for some loser like Dave fucking Smith. These guys do not respect the freedom that we have. They don't respect the opportunities that we have. They don't respect any fucking thing. And it pisses me the fuck off. I'm so sick and tired of these. Like, Tim doesn't want you to believe he's a multimillionaire. Tim doesn't want you to believe that he is in the top 1% of people in this country. He wants to continue to, he just wants you to believe that he's trying to make it every day. But then at the same time, when he gets his little feelings hurt because somebody at his work doesn't do something, he'll get on there and tell you, I have all this money in the world. I could walk away right now. I could retire. I could go live in a van down by the beach, But then the next day he's like, well, we've got things we have to pay for. And it's just fucking bullshit, dude. It's fucking bullshit. But yeah, so that line of him saying he'd vote for Dave Smith over Trump after he got set down with Donald Trump multiple times and do interviews. He's been to the White House. He's been to Mar-a-Lago. He's been to all of these functions and all of these parties and all of that shit. And for him to do that, man, is just, it's par for the course. It's just what you would expect from him. So, Flag Ninja says, hang on. Oh, now I just realized I'm so drunk. I got confused. Chrono Trigger with Secret of Mana. Ah, yeah. Oops. Still, Secret of Evermore is an awesome game if you want to check it out. There we go. Okay. Flag Ninja, it's okay. It's okay. You've kicked a few back. As long as you're being safe, brother. That's all that matters. Thank you, A-Rod, for that. Quentin says, George Strait is a Jordan of country. Who's Garth? Ooh, this is a tough one. Okay. This is a very, very interesting one because you're saying George Strait is the Jordan of country. Who is Garth? And I would argue that Garth Brooks might actually be the Jordan of country, but for different reasons. Because Garth Brooks made country music more popular than it's ever been, as Jordan did with the NBA. Michael Jordan made the NBA more popular than it's ever been. However, Garth Brooks has abandoned everything that made him great, and he is a complete cuck and a coward now. There was a lot of people that'll tell you that Garth Brooks maybe made country music too popish, and he crossed it over too much, which is a valid argument. Because George Strait is pure country. George Strait is he's the last line of defense of country. In a lot of ways, I feel like George Strait is the Larry Bird of country music. Just, gritty, raw, He'll get down there and he'll scrap it up with you, but you know, he wasn't beloved enough to be as popular the world over. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a tough one. It's a very, very tough one. That's a very tough one though. Hank Williams Jr. Hank Jr. is a good one that I could say is like the Larry Bird as well. Absolutely. Garth is Britney Spears. A dork man, 20K says, I think his beanie is cutting off circulation from his brain. Marmilla says, Warhawk Trump, how tarded are these waste of air morons? I know the fact that she called Trump a Warhawk and Tim was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But again, Tim is in that same world too, where Tim just wants to say whatever the chat wants him to say. He's scared. Tim literally shut his fucking chat down for criticizing him. Like he's scared to death to say the unpopular thing. All of these guys on the internet are scared to death to say the unpopular thing. They are terrified of it. They are so scared of the internet being mean to them and telling them they're retarded. Well, welcome to my world, because my chat, even that when they like me, they call me retarded. The Mr. Blue Sky says, Tim Pool is an idiot. Good Lord. Ugh, I wish I didn't have to pull the plug on Orlando last minute. Stuck in Toledo, Ohio. Currently wishing you all the best. Hail the 199, clowns, IDOTs, and fellowship. I am sorry you're not able to make it, brother. I am so sorry. By the way, I did show this off earlier. So, you know, we did the RSVP for our meetup Saturday night. We're well over 800 people RSVP'd. Now, does that mean 800 people are going to show up? By usual logic of our usual meetups, that means more than 800 people are going to show up based on our other meetups, because we always overshoot the RSVP. 800 people is a lot of fucking people. This is the most people we've ever had to RSVP for a meetup. Okay. This is fucking crazy. And I don't know how the hell we're going to manage this. I don't know how we're going to deal with this. Now, with that said, Megacon initially had us in about a 450 person room for our panel. We were like, we might need a bit bigger room, maybe 600 or 700, maybe 600 or 700. And they were like, why? And we're like, well, last year we had about that many, but our RSVP for our meetup is well over 800. And they're like, oh, you need that big of a room. Okay. So they gave us a fucking ginormous room that we cannot fill up, I don't think. All right. I don't think, but this is the room that they gave us for our panel on Saturday morning. Holy fuck. This is crazy. So I don't think we're going to fill this one up, but if we can get 50 to 60%, I'll be happy, but that's a big fucking room, okay? That's a lot of people. So we'll see what happens. That is a fucking room. So, Jimbo says, just curious, are Geeks and Gamers banned at any conventions? Pensacon. I'm banned at Pensacon anyway. That's the only one. All the other ones were in good standing, but Pensacon's my local convention in Pensacola, and I got banned because I called the owner some names. So it's a long story. But yeah, it was more so because it's a long story about why that actually happened. But it's not as simple as that. I called him names. It's a long story about Vic Mignogna and all this other shit. So. But like I said, see if I can find this. Here we go. Okay. So this is a couple of years ago, and I've shown this a few times, but this is a couple of years ago. But this room, I don't know how many of this room held, but this is Benny Johnson at Megacon a couple of years ago.
We're going to the Geeks and Gamers panel to see and stay incredibly based. This was our first comic convention, so I didn't know what to expect when we walked into the Geeks and Gamers breakout session at Megacon. Look at this packed room, wall to wall, people standing, room only, with some of our favorite creators on the internet, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, Eric July, RK Outpost, Ryan Kinnell, and Jeremy, the founder of Geeks and Gamers. What a kick-ass crew. It was an honor to be invited, and, well, I was never expecting this.
Right here, are you saying, hey, just out of curiosity, like, are you saying, like, you can't stand Benny or you can't stand Benny? Like, you mean you can't stand up? Can we get some super chats for Gandalf the White? I didn't realize you couldn't stand, brother. Prayers up. Prayers up in the chat. I didn't realize you can't stand. That's terrible. I'm not Benny Johnson, though. But you could say can't stand Jeremy, and I'll be like, prayers up for you. So I didn't know you couldn't stand, man. Prayers up, man. Super chats in the chat for Gandalf the White. That's awful that you can't stand. I'm sorry to hear that, man. So anyway, this is awesome. I can't wait. And hail to Benny Johnson. Granola cream. That's Gandalf will walk again one day. He will walk again. Holy shit. Dark Schwartz Rising for 20 says, on election night, I was watching you and Tim at the same time. And after it was all over, Tim was celebrating harder than anyone. Odd. Exactly. Dude, that is a perfect clip. You know what? Let me see. I want to see how Tim was acting. Let's see how Tim acted. Here it is. Here it is. Let's see.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, Vox is called Pennsylvania.
And run again, which he announced.
Oh,
That's it.
Decision desk has called Pennsylvania for Trump. 270 electoral
Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States.
We are so back. We are so back. It is unbelievable. Kamala Harris, the joys have gone. It's been redistributed. It's ours now.
You're fired.
He's so happy for a guy that wanted to vote for Dave Smith. It's crazy. Like, you would think he'd be like, man, if only Dave Smith were on the ballot, but I guess I'll have to deal with this Trump guy.
Mega! 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 Wow. Oh, wow.
Former President Donald Trump.
Wow.
Again, at 267.
Oh, my gosh.
Decision desk has 65, currently 65,310,000.
So happy. So happy. Oh, man. If only we would have known that the whole time Tim was sitting there behind the smiles and the cheers and the alcohol. The whole time Tim was just like, should have been Dave Smith. It should have been Dave Smith. Damn it. Should have been Dave. Should have been Dave Smith. Damn it. But you know, it is what it is. Hey, Tree Bear says G.I. Joe classified 250th anniversary Duke figure drops tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hail the 199. I am so excited. I am so excited. Angie says no sound tax. For what? Did I mess something up? Unseen Dimension says Israel killed Charlie Kirk even though he supported them and covered up using the full force of the USA. They somehow can't touch Candace, though. Exactly. Like, it's the stupidest thing I've ever, like, of all the people that are out there criticizing Israel and saying literally the worst things imaginable, they decided to go after Charlie Kirk because he said, I got a couple of issues here and there. Take him out, boys. What? It's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard, man. It really is. Grumpy Gen Xer says Israel did attack. Elite Super Grunt says Dan is full of poop. Once fed, always fed. Dan Vask. The local Rex, it says it's Joe Kent's wife. Look at her. It explains it all. I've heard some people talk about that. Vault 199 Gaming says stop listening to Tim months ago. All cringe now. I'm going to be honest, though. I'm going to be honest. I've heard this argument many times. So the reason you never hear me kind of like use that as an excuse because like Joe Kent's wife is, you know, doing this or whatever. Like, that doesn't excuse the man from being a cuck and a bitch. Joe Kent is a bitch. If that is in fact true, then Joe Kent is a bitch. Doesn't matter who his wife is. Doesn't matter if he's doing it because his wife's making him. It means he's a bitch. It means he's a cuck. It means he's not a real man. I don't care if whatever. Like, that's still, regardless of if that's true or not, it doesn't change the fact that he is a bitch. He's the one that should be criticized for being a bitch. So it doesn't matter if it's his wife. Same with like Colin Kaepernick, okay? The theory about Colin Kaepernick is that he started dating a psychopathic SJW woman. And that's who essentially twisted him up to be the social justice warrior that he became. Because if you actually follow NFL like I do, back in the day when Colin Kaepernick was the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, he was actually pretty good. He was actually doing some really cool things, and he was a good leader on his team, and he was doing some really good stuff. They went to a Super Bowl, all that. Like, he was playing very well. And then suddenly he started dating a feminist weirdo. He got benched because his play was, he was playing terribly. And essentially this crazy social justice feminist chick, he started to essentially lean into all the crazy shit that she was into. That's still on him. That's him. He's weak. He's a loser. So, I mean, it means nothing to me if any man is allowing his worldview to be warped by his wife, then that's on the man. Simple as that. Quentin says, talk about Thanksgiving week working at a grocery store. Are you really getting this one started? I got to go to bed soon. That could go on for hours. Twisted Clown says, can't stand tax. The local Rex says, check on Tim's show tonight. Has a chick on Tim's show tonight, has a great personality. Superman 2025 put me to sleep in the theater. I honestly agree with you. It's a terrible fucking movie. Johnny Whiskas says, damn it, I said I wasn't coming to Megacon, but you know who's going to be there? Veronica Taylor, the original voice of Ash Ketchum. I met her 12 times now, and I wish I knew earlier she was coming over. Maybe a next time. With that said, I got a big day tomorrow. Because I will be at Megacon. I got to get a little bit of sleep so I don't look, well, I'm going to look terrible. But the problem is like, I don't have the ability to turn on the beauty filter like I just did here. All right. So I'm going to have to get some sleep because I don't have this beauty filter that's on right now. With a click of a button, it goes away. Boom. And this is what you have to look forward to tomorrow. Not a pretty sight. So we'll see. But thank you so much. He's quitting on us. He's gay. He's a loser. He's going to sleep. Shout out to Kino Casino for that one. But with that said, we're going to end it there. You guys have a good night. Not sure if I'm going to be streaming tomorrow or not. I have no idea. But what I am sure of is that we're going to have a fun weekend, and I appreciate all of your support. So you guys have a good evening, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.
Time to rule at last. 15 years held up in
Hey, we got overtime because I got one more story to tell you about really quickly. That's right. We got one more story, everybody. Are you here? This is what I'm going to leave you with, okay? This is the after credits scene of CobraCast 199. Are you ready? Here is the story I'm going to leave you with. Post-credit scene tax. All right? Here we go. This is just a theory. But if in fact this theory turns out to be true, just going to tell you right now, Joe Kent is forgiven. Okay? Joe Kent is completely forgiven if this story turns out to be true. Okay? Joe Kent and Tulsi Gabbard may have been fucking. That's why they're acting weird. Joe Kent, if this is in fact true, you, sir, are forgiven. I retract all of my statements. You, sir, are forgiven if this is in fact true. So I'll just leave you with that one. You guys have a good night, and we'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone. No, it's not true. It's a meme. This is like a complete meme account. But fuck it. We're here for the laughs, right? Bye, everyone.